Welcome to all of you wonderful parents out there, male and female. But today we're going to be talking about the bias and discrimination of Antionette Sandback towards paying parents, which is sickening, absolutely sickening. So let's dive in.
The majority of 3 million cases are still working under the CSA system and have not been transferred over to CMS yet, which in my experience
probably is a blessing in disguise for those people who would be charged for arrears that just don't exist.
I know that it is not fault of this minister, and I feel very sorry for this minister because she's taken over a system which has had systemic failings for years.
So how can they acknowledge on the one hand that there is systemic failings with the CMS and it does not work? It doesn't work for non-resident parents and it doesn't work for resident parents. But on the other hand, keep flogging the dead horse. Keep flogging this idea of this CMS idea. They themselves at the very top recognize that there's something inherently wrong with it. Inherently wrong with the CMS and the way that they know exactly the harm that they're causing in society. They know it's hurting lots of families. But yet, they'll stand there in these conference rooms and say this, and in the next breath, they'll say stuff like this.
And the fact that £4 billion worth of arrears are outstanding demonstrates the catastrophic way in which single parents in this country have been let down by a system that was supposed to make collections easier. Now,
£4 billion worth of unsupported or unproven arrears. Unproven. It's a number that they're picking out of the air. It's unproven, unsubstantiated. An estimate of arrears that is overinflated, but they'll stand in front of these conference rooms with these people, with some of them looking half asleep, and say that this is a failure towards women. It's a failure generally. It's a failure it's a failure towards society.
Honourable lady, a mother, and Michael has outlined very ably some of the key problems and the recommendations of the Gingerbread Report, and I'd like to concentrate specifically in relation to avoidance by the self-employed. As we know from the Chancellor's statement recently, a vast number of people are moving over to self-employment, and that is a growing group, particularly amongst non-resident parents. And it makes the avoidance of child maintenance that much easier. There are online forums which provide advice to non-resident parents in how to avoid child maintenance payments, and quite frankly, the government have not stepped up to the plate. It is absolutely scandalous that parents whose legal rights to maintenance for their children have been taken away and given to the state are finding that the state is unwilling or unable to enforce their rights.
I don't know about you, but I find that this is completely inflammatory. And the reason why I'm saying that is that they're talking about the rights of one parent, that's the resident parent. They're talking about, and what they're really saying is, what it sounds to my ear, they're saying women's rights. This is really a kind of an amalgamation of lots and lots of different things, but it's boiling down to women's rights. And this is supposed to be an agency that is unbiased towards fathers and mothers. But you can see here in this conference here that there is a definite, strong leaning towards a bias towards women, mothers. But what's not being said here is this, which I think is really significant. Where is the voice of the fathers? It's all very well to say that these people are avoidant, but you're not in any form of conversation with them to find out if they really are avoidant. And how many reports have I heard of many fathers who say that they provided lots of evidence. They're paying for their children. You are paying for your child. the CMS has got their fingers in their ears saying, look, we don't know what evidence that you've got.
Can't do double stamped it, no erases. Cannot triple stamped it, no erases. Touch blue, make it true.
You can't triple stamp a double stamp. You can't triple stamp a double stamp, Lloyd. You can't triple stamp a double stamp. Lloyd, you guys!
All very well saying that women's rights or mothers' rights are being thwarted. But on the other side of that coin, on the other side of that fence, on the other side of that discussion, men's or fathers' rights, fathers' voices are not being heard. How many fathers of you out there are bringing up your children from your own finances, and the mother is supposed to be paying you, but that's not happening. It's not happening at all. So this debate, this discussion is, in my view, is entirely biased.
And quite frankly, it's not good enough.
In my view, it's not good enough. In our view, it's not good enough. In all the non-resident fathers out there, it's not good enough. And it's disgusting. And it's not right. Both parents need to be part of the discussion.
You were what was missing, Lizzie. But now you're here and you are stuck with us.
That's right.
All right, we're gonna be at every soccer game. We're gonna be all over your ass about your grades.
Yeah.
And we're gonna buy you your first prom dress.
Yeah, and it's gonna be really, really pretty, but not too revealing, super sweet, not too sexy, just like really that gorgeous sweet spot.
Yeah.
So that the children at the center of these discussions can be properly provided for in terms of education, finances, home, social development, emotional development. The separation of parents is a #1 cause of children having poorer educational outcomes throughout their lives. And so this discussion is not helping them.
It is discriminatory because it largely operates against women. 75% of single parents with care are women.
75% of women who are single parents were the ones that actually ended their own relationship, ended their own marriage. 75%. It's funny that it's 75% of women who are single parents, and it's 75% of women who end their marriages. So there's a correlation, you can see it.
And the government really has to look at this area again. So I would call for some specific action by the Minister. In particular, I would echo calls for the lifestyle inconsistent with earnings. It is absolutely ridiculous to suggest that a parent who may have separated from their partner 10, 13, 15 years before would have a detailed knowledge of their financial circumstances.
Anyway, we're going to leave it there. What are your thoughts? I'm very interested in your opinion, your experiences. Are you a parent running away from your responsibilities who is a self-employed individual? What's your story? What's the other side of the story? You can tell me. Let me know in the comment sections below. Speak to you soon.
It takes two to make a thing go right. It takes two to make it out of sight.
It takes two to make a thing go right. It takes two to make it out of sight.
Hey! Oh!